And now he's talking about killing him and all that to try and sell. Please. Barking up the wrong tree, idiot. Here's a fun fact. If I ever come across you, bum.
What you live your life by is irrelevant what I think. And vice versa. Tyson don't need to worry about my opinion. He needs to focus on himself. Tyson's a hater.
If Anthony Joshua hits Jake Paul to the body, he will shatter the entire ribcage of Jake Paul. And I hope it's not body.
Tyson Fury fires a sharp warning at Anthony Joshua, while AJ sends a chilling message of his own by intimidating Jake Paul and vowing a fast end. To begin with, Chael Sonnen criticizes Joshua's promotional tactics and his belief that overhyping Jake Paul makes Joshua look foolish rather than credible. He argues that Anthony Joshua is damaging his own reputation by attempting to legitimize a massive physical mismatch. He claims that Joshua's ranking of Jake Paul over Tyson Fury is transparent and stupid.
There is no weigh-in that Anthony Joshua has ever had where he has enjoyed the size advantage that he has over Jake Paul. Now, when you get put in that spot, there's only one thing that can diminish you, which is you. You going around and you doing interviews and you doing press conferences as a way of trying to do twofold, right? Where Anthony Joshua is building Jake Paul up, or even in this ridiculous statement where he says that Jake Paul is in front of Tyson Fury. Like the level of stupidness to that. But it's a two-pronged approach that is very transparent. And it really makes him look quite stupid. Not just foolish. This was a stupid thing for Joshua to do. You're trying to sell tickets.
In response, Anthony Joshua labels Tyson Fury a social media personality rather than a dedicated athlete, questioning his resume compared to his own history of facing elite heavyweights. Joshua expresses frustration with Fury's inactivity, telling him to stop talking if he isn't going to fight. He even admits he hoped Alexander Usyk would finish Fury off in their bout to teach him some humility.
Not anymore, it's what it is. I fight Jake, that's my focus. Fury's not even on my radar. He can sit around doing Instagram videos, but he's not the one getting in the ring. Jake is. Why am I sitting around waiting for a guy that likes to do more Instagram videos than fight? I'm looking for real fighters. Tyson's not a real fighter in my eyes. You know, I'll be on the walls of Jake Pauls, of Joseph Parkers, of Povetkins, you know, of Ruizes of the world. He ain't fought these kind of guys. I have. So yeah, like unless you want to fight, shut up.
Well, you've been in with Usyk twice, and
I've done
you
it
gave
first
him
as well.
Yeah,
I'll fight anyone. Like, that's what we do.
And I felt that you gave him, especially in the second fight, his toughest fight as a heavyweight.
We didn't win.
But how did you think Fury fared with him?
He nearly got knocked out.
Soon after, Tyson Fury responds to Anthony Joshua's recent kill or be killed comments regarding his fight with Jake Paul. Fury criticizes Joshua's attitude, dismisses the talk as a desperate attempt to sell the fight, and asserts his own dominance. He claims he would knock Joshua out if they ever faced each other.
If he kills somebody, he kills somebody in a boxing ring. I think, you know what? He's a little bit long in the tooth to be talking shite like that. He's 37-year-old at the end of his career, fighting a YouTuber, a Disney Channel guy, who Tommy B. And now he's talking about killing him and all that to try and sell. Please. Barking up the wrong tree, idiot. Here's a fun fact. If I ever come across you, bum, I'm knocking you dead spark out. I ain't a YouTuber or a man half your size. I am him. The man. You're a classless loser. Coming off a 15 months knockout defeat to a local lad. Imagine if someone from Morecambe knocked me out. You big bum, useless tosser. Get up, and I can't wait if Jake Paul knocks your spark out, you big bum. Get up.
At the same time, Joshua discusses the ruthless professional mentality required in elite boxing and the inherent life-threatening dangers of the sport. He explains that while he hopes his opponent leaves the ring safely, he must maintain a cold, uncompromising mindset to be successful.
That you shouldn't say that as a boxer. Could you explain to us what you meant by that? And could you please respond to Tyson's statement?
It's my job. We fight. We're licensed to kill. I'm sure many people don't understand it, but this is what my job is. And I I just enjoy what I do. Whatever happens, happens. As long as my hand's raised, that's what's important, right? Respectfully. That's just the mentality we have to have as fighters. I don't know if any other fighter thinks that way. Maybe they're a bit more tamed. But the things I watch and the way my mind works, when you're in that ring, it's a dangerous place to be and anything can happen. And you hope your opponent leaves the ring safely, but if they don't, you know, you still have to go to bed at night knowing that you just done your job. It wasn't personal.
Doubling down, Joshua dismisses Tyson Fury as a hater and accuses him of twisting his words to suit a negative narrative. Joshua asserts that external opinions regarding his legacy are meaningless to him, as he refuses to live by anyone else's expectations or standards. He asserts that he would prefer to skip the media circus entirely to focus on the fight.
Forget Tyson. I don't like that guy. Forget that guy.
He's had a lot to say about you in the build-up, especially in the kill comment. Is that frustrating for you? Do you think he's trying to spin your words, the narrative?
In short, yeah, your opinion, what you live your life by, is irrelevant what I think, and vice versa. Tyson don't need to worry about my opinion. He needs to focus on himself. Tyson's a hater.
Do you care about the opinions going into this fight? The fact that people are talking about tarnishing your legacy and things like that?
Nah, I respect it. As I said, that's for them.
Shifting the focus away from Tyson Fury, Joshua then sent a clear message to Jake Paul by a physical chain grab during their face-off to emphasize the massive gap in size and intimidation between him and Paul. From there, Joshua highlighted his commitment to a clinical high-speed finish. He views a quick knockout as the only way to satisfy the crowd while protecting his own safety and future career. Joshua makes it clear that he will not go easy on Jake Paul for the sake of entertainment. He argues that extending a fight is a dangerous risk.
No, I don't play with my food. No way. No way. If I can hurt you, I'm gonna hurt you, bro. And if you, no, I'm not gonna say, but if you hit me once, I'm gonna hit you twice. That's just the game we're in. Yeah.
And I've told people, a fight, I'm like, what's in it for AJ to let the fight go any longer than it has to go? Because I view it as a dangerous fight from the aspect, because I've seen it happen. A guy takes a fight everyone perceives as easy, but then he breaks his hand. He might have a clash of heads, and you got other big plans in 2026.
Yeah, so exactly that. You just hit the nail on the head. Why would you risk it? You know, in boxing, it's a great game because, like, if you watch football, you don't want it to end in the first 10 minutes. You want to watch a full 90-minute football match, soccer match, or NFL match. With boxing, if I end it in 10 seconds, I'll do it, and people will be happy.
In response, Jake Paul acknowledges that Joshua is focused because the stakes are incredibly high, noting that a defeat would be the most devastating loss of his career. Paul claims to have a superior strategy that will trap his opponent and trigger a sense of panic once the physical reality of the fight begins.
Yeah, absolutely, and rightfully so. It's smart on his part, but I believe he's locked in and knows that this could potentially be the biggest loss and will be the biggest loss of his career, and he has so much to lose in this fight, and that's what I plan on bringing to the table is the strategy behind this. I've got him in the corner, and I know that those nerves are going to kick in once he sees what I can do to him.
Meanwhile, Joshua expresses his excitement for the massive global reach of the fight on Netflix, noting that the vast digital audience was a primary motivator for accepting the match. He clarifies that his decision wasn't driven by money, stating it isn't even his largest payday, but rather the unique chance to display his skills to the world.
You believe so? It's going to be the biggest audience.
Online, yeah.
That's going to be amazing. That's going to be amazing. Thank MVP for the great opportunity. Thank Netflix. Yeah, it's a chance for me to showcase my skills while I'm here and doing what I'm doing what I love to do. All of us that are here today, sat at every table. What an opportunity, man. That was one of the main reasons why I wanted to take the fight, because I said it was a great opportunity. I saw what this meant. It's not even my biggest payday. It's not about money. For me, it was more about the opportunity I have to showcase my skills to the world just before Christmas as well. And I thought there'll be a lot of people at home enjoying this show.
And yeah, this is great boxing.
Pushing the narrative further, Paul argues that if this match had occurred while his opponent still held the world titles, a victory would have officially crowned him the heavyweight champion of the world. He frames the fight as a test of his skills against someone who claims to be superior to the likes of Tyson Fury, expressing excitement to prove that his ability belongs at the absolute top of the division.
It could make sense. We've thought about it, but I just think people don't respect that title.
The heavyweight.
The bridgerweight.
A big task. No, but I mean the heavyweight, if you want to go for that, that's a big. You got to set your goals high.
I mean, it is a big task, but I mean, if this fight were 14 months ago or whatever, however many months ago you had the belt, then when I win, it would have been me becoming the heavyweight champion of the world. So
you would have beat me for the belt.
And you claim you're better than Tyson, all these people. So I mean, we'll see. It's going to be fun to see where my skill set's at.
Adding to the concern, Eddie Hearn predicts a brutal outcome, stating that Jake Paul will be overwhelmed by Anthony Joshua's monster presence and forced into a survival-based defense. Hearn claims Joshua's speed and power are so superior that a single clean punch to the jaw would end the fight instantly, while a shot to the midsection could cause severe skeletal damage.
What the fuck is this absolute monster doing in the ring with me? He will box very defensively. He will try and survive, and then sooner or later, AJ, if you make a mistake against Anthony Joshua, you will go to sleep instantly, like Francis Ngannou. And once Jake Paul throws, when Jake Paul throws anything, he is going to get countered with speed he has never seen before. And when he gets hit clean on the chin, he will be out cold immediately, clean on the chin. Now, as I said, the best case scenario for Jake is that it's half clean. Do you know what I mean? I've got to tell you, if Anthony Joshua hits Jake Paul to the body, he will shatter the entire ribcage of Jake Paul.
Reinforcing that view, Chael Sonnen argues that Anthony Joshua's success often comes from his ability to manufacture a sense of urgency by convincing himself that an opponent is a legitimate threat even when they aren't. He labels the Joshua versus Jake Paul matchup as the greatest sporting mismatch of his lifetime.
A large part of why Joshua was so dangerous that night and got the result that he did is because he convinced himself of a threat. Now, the threat didn't exist, but he convinced himself it did. That creates an urgency. You don't want to go in there and overlook somebody. I'm just sharing with you, Joshua versus Paul, this is silly. This is the sporting mismatch of my lifetime. And the odds don't reflect that. The odds are big. There's a big gap. But it's not the most mismatched betting line in the history of sports, even though it is the greatest mismatch in the history of sport. And the reason for that is not because there's a secret underground belief in Jake Paul's boxing.
Echoing those fears, Tim Welch shows concern over the dangerous mismatch between the two fighters and the potential for Jake Paul to suffer a career-ending knockout. He expresses deep concern for Jake Paul's safety, warning that the massive gap in size, power, and experience could lead to a life-altering injury. He compares Paul's limited background to Anthony Joshua's elite credentials.
I'm scared that he's going to get a severe concussion. A severe concussion that changes you as a human. Hopefully he has corners in there that are willing to take care of him. If he gets dropped 1-2 times, throw the towel in, save him from a severe career-changing knockout. This is all fun and games. This is all fun and games till you're in there with him. But Jake Paul, this is one thing that makes me think a little bit different. Okay, 28, 36, 6'1 versus 6'6, 200 pounds versus 252 pounds shredded, 76-inch reach versus an 82-inch reach. Jake Paul, 1 amateur fight. Anthony Joshua, 43 amateur fights, 13 pro fights for Jake Paul, 32 pro fights for Joshua. Jake Paul's record, 12-1, 7 KOs. Anthony Joshua, 28-4 with 25 KOs. gold medalist in Olympics.
Taking it further, Welch argues that if Jake Paul manages to hold his own against a world-class heavyweight, it would be a bad look for the sport, suggesting that a few years of training can override decades of experience. He admits that an upset would completely shatter his own expertise and understanding of fighting.
That means in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and like, you got to be a tough kid, obviously, and you have dedication, but if you have good trainers and commitment, you could become the best fighter on the planet Earth in 4 to 5 years in boxing. It's a bad look, in my opinion, for boxing if Jake Paul goes out there and makes Joshua fight hard. It's like, holy. Whoo! I'm nervous. I'm nervous for it because I want to see Jake Paul continue to fight other guys. If Jake Paul goes out there and drops Anthony Joshua, I just need to shut my hole. Everything I think I know about fighting, I just need to shut my hole. Okay. It's still crazy that this is going on.
From a technical standpoint, the Wade concept warns Anthony Joshua against using the shoulder roll, calling it a dangerous defensive gamble that previously led to his knockout loss against Daniel Dubois. He urges Joshua to abandon Mayweather-style tactics in favor of a reliable high guard, though he admits Joshua's jab and offensive range still look flawlessly elite and effortless.
Oh, buddy, this is what I didn't want to see. I don't want to see AJ rolling nothing, dude. He better roll a spliff before he starts shoulder rolling punches and coming with the uppercuts. I don't want to see that. That's the most dangerous thing that AJ could do to himself in this fight, is take away one of his defense weapons and think he's the 6'6" Floyd Money Mayweather, dude. When has AJ ever rolled punches like that on the shoulder and then came back with the uppercut? That's that got him knocked out in the Daniel Dubois fight. I don't want to see that. And then he comes back with the high guard. That's where we need to be, AJ. None of that shoulder rolling. None of that. He's showing the footwork, though. All right, here we go. Bro, the way, and I'm not even trying to glaze AJ, but the way it's effortless for him to touch with the jab. It's just bah, bah. And then he's in range with that right hand.
Switching focus, Wade explores Jake Paul's need for tactical variety, emphasizing his transition between a tight defensive guard and a mobile, bladed stance. Ultimately, Wade views Paul's workout as a statement intended to prove he has the legitimate heavyweight power needed to crack and hurt an elite opponent.
I think that's going to be another factor too, is Jake fighting in multiple styles. Can he fight inside with that close high guard, everything protected, and then get back to range, turn bladed, not be able to be such a big target like we've seen him do sometimes in the past. And then the third one is, for the love of everything holy, stay away from the right hand of AJ. So I like watching him circle away, everything right hand, and even sometimes off the left hook, rolling back under, even though that's not really how they teach it, come back that way and then pivot, but bang, get back. However you need to get away from that weapon of mass destruction, do it. All in all though, there's messages being sent both ways from both guys. From Jake, he might be the bigger man, but look at these power punches. Look at how bad I am. Look at how these punches land. And from Jake, you can see him kind of flipping the narrative of AJ's got the power punches. This open workout was him saying.
Raising serious alarms, the Pain Game criticizes Jake Paul's transition to heavyweight as a reckless gamble, noting that jumping from training for a lighter fighter to facing Anthony Joshua in weeks is unprepared and dangerous. He explains that the diabolical risks of heavyweight boxing require months of specialized training, which Paul has skipped.
And then you go from that to fighting one of the biggest, strongest, hard-hitting heavyweights in world boxing. It smacks of, I am not prepared for this, and I'm just fucking rolling the dice. And I admire it, the courage, but like, if you're gonna do this, you have to take it as seriously as a man like Anthony Joshua deserves to be taken. And a couple of weeks of sparring, you know, a few heavyweights, that ain't serious enough for me. I've interviewed Tom Aspinall. He exclusively trains with heavyweights because he's in the heavyweight division year round. And he says heavyweight fighting, it's a different sport almost, because the consequences of making a mistake are so much more diabolical that you have to train differently. And a quick turnaround like this, I mean, like, yeah, and I'll take AJ. If I was his advisors, I'd be like, look, if you insist on doing this nonsense, because this is crazy.
Continuing that warning, the Pain Game dismisses the idea that Jake Paul Paul has the typical smaller man advantages like speed or fitness to balance the mismatch. He predicts the only way Paul avoids a life-altering injury is through a super quick stoppage by the referee or cornering the moment Anthony Joshua traps him on the ropes.
Here's my only thought about how this can end and Jake Paul not end up in serious fucking pain, if he even knows what day it is. The minute AJ gets him up against that rope and he starts uncorking those thunderous shots, I think they're going to throw the towel in really, really quickly. Everyone will know, like, as in the referee will probably be ready to call it off early. The referees are supposed to, you know, let it go to a certain point, but they're going to be a lot quicker to step in for Jake Paul because they're aware that this is a mismatch. And if that doesn't happen, the fucking towels will be coming in super quick. And that is my opinion on how they get Jake Paul out of this situation with his and brain intact. Because if they don't, it's good night Vienna. It may happen before a towel or a referee can get there because of the animal that we're dealing with here.
Offering a final assessment, Showbiz the Adult emphasizes that Anthony Joshua holds every technical and physical advantage, leaving Jake Paul with no typical underdog assets like superior speed or skill. He notes the irony in Paul's situation. While the physical gap is massive, Paul actually welcomes the scripted rumors, viewing them as a compliment to how much he has improved.
I don't know why anyone would want Jake Paul to fight somebody on this level. I don't even know why Jake Paul will want to fight somebody on this level. If you look at the difference, it's just night and day. And when you are a smaller fighter, your asset should be your speed, it should be your technique, it should be your skill set, right? Kind of how Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis was exactly that. In this case, AJ looking swifter. AJ has better technique and skills and more experience. AJ's looking faster, and he should, all right? Now, the one thing that Jake Paul said that I was like, absolutely right, was him showing his frustrations to all of you guys out there on your socials saying that his fights are scripted.
I take it as the deepest compliment that they chalk up what I'm doing to being rigged.
To close it out, Adult highlights Anthony Joshua's predatory nature, describing him as a natural-born combatant who is physically and mentally on a different level. He explains that Joshua won't hold back because allowing Jake Paul to even look competitive would jeopardize his own legacy and future earnings.
A two-time champion in Anthony AJ Joshua, an Olympic gold medalist, all you need to do is just witness AJ and his mentality. He got there and he does this at this level because he's a violent person. He's a warrior. He's a gladiator. And he's not going to play with Jake Paul because Jake Paul, if he wins, if he looks good or has any success, that can take food out of his mouth and off the table of him and his family. Anthony AJ Joshua is going to play with him.
In the end, this isn't just hype or trash talk, it's a collision between elite boxing reality and manufactured spectacle. While opinions are split, one truth remains clear. When the bell rings, skill, size, and experience can't be negotiated and the consequences will be real.